Well, when we were going through our little wars, or whatever you want, when we were going through our tit for tat shit, what everyone seemed to be doing in the city is flying around in half-decent cars, getting into trouble, ramming each other and losing dough and all this man through the cars. And I was just looking at it all thinking, look at them cunts, look at the cars they drive round in and they're giving us. So I don't give a what anyone tells you. We were the first group of people in the city of Liverpool to start using what they call now rammers. Don't let no one tell you any difference. It was us that brought rammers into the situation. And what we'd do, we'd go out and buy Granada Scorpio Cosworths, Granada 2.4 executives, Nissan, just big 3-litre machines, Rover Vitesses, Vauxhall Carltons, all sorts of big heavy 3-litre V6s, and we'd just park them up. And we're just flying past in the four motions and that, shouting. And we just get in the rammers and go, is that right? Ooh. And these are floating. These Chryslers, Vauxhall Chrysler. These are floating. And you know when they hit you, it's over for you, mate. And then we started using them when we were going on missions. Instead of floating in our decent ride looking for these helmets, we'd just get in the rammers and just cruise in tandem on a mission. As soon as we see in the car, bang, just ram it off the road and bail again. What we noticed was that the Granadas could ram you through the wall and get you away, and you'd only have to replace the radiator, because we were going through pure rammers and the war chest was just getting so basically when I was grafting, I had what we would do, and then he had a war chest. Most people had one. Well, they didn't even know what one was, to be honest. And Tommy always used to tell me, make sure you've got a war chest as well, Darren. So we had a war chest, and basically what I was doing out the graft every week was bang, 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 and not touching it. But when it hit the fan, we needed that house burning, needed to buy that rammer, we just go into the war chest. But when it starts intensifying your war chest is just going, and then you start tapping into your graft, you know, to sustain the war, the tit for tat, because it's like a process of nutrition. It's about who's going to last along, who's going to win this war. It's not about who's the most dangerous. It's not about who's the gamest. It's if you can keep on retaliating, because eventually one of you are going to go, I'm losing too much dough here. Do you understand? And that's what you start doing. You start attacking graft. You're only coming at us with your dough because your graft's still running, so you start copping for his grafters, making people scared not to graft for him, so his funding stops coming in, and that harms his progress in this little tit for tat that we're in. And these are real tactics and strategies that you're using when you're in my position on the streets, if it makes sense. Do you understand? It weren't all chaos. It was organised chaos. That's what it was. Yeah, Stephen. In the 065. It happens now, though. Yeah, there's loads using rammers now. You hear it all the time, you know, the ramming drug dealers' girlfriends with the kids in the car coming back from school. That's what they do in Liverpool. But back then when we were doing it, there was one particular occasion, I can remember clearly. You've got a kid off Scotty called Wacky. And I used to have it with Wacky on Scotty. When Mikey Wright and I started taking the piss and we fell out with him, eventually, you know, you're just going to end up falling out with all the lads on Scotty, because that's the way it ended up. You just can't trust them, can you? It's like, that's the way it is. So We're all by the pole. Something's happened on Scotty. We've got to slap one of the kids up or cruise down there, tried to get one in the car and never, and carried on going, and ended up by ours, parked the rammers up, sitting off by the pole. So like 10 of us, 12 of us by this little opening onto our estate. And we see this car spin round at the end of our road, just like big long road, and you can see both ends, cars coming. And seeing this car bang a right onto our Robson Street, coming towards where we're standing. And it's Wacky's 4Motion. And he's forward up. And he's coming and he's got his bar arm in it. Now 2 of the boys had slipped and were sitting in a rammer. They just slipped, they were doing something, sitting in a rammer doing it. And we're all here, and he slammed it, started giving a shit up and thinking he's mad. Danny's only in. It was a diplomat, executive Granada. It was only a 2.3 sky blue thing, big floater. Danny's just on him in a flash, nudging him. He's got him up Mere Lane now, chasing him up Mere Lane, nudging him. He's getting him down St Domingo Road now, right down, it's like a big hill, and he's forcing him down the road now. You know, making him flap right down towards the valley, going towards Scotty, and you can bang it right by the Cunard. There's like an opening. Makes you go down towards where Pancake and all that used to live. As he's taking that corner down, he's just went, whack! He's just went, put his golf into the wall and toppled it. Little fat spud. I had to sit him off years later, just to let him know, sort it out, fathead, or I'll come to your front door. You know, like a few years ago. Because they were all having a go again, so I just thought, you know what, I'll go and sit you off. So I watched him for a few days, followed him where he went, and every weekend he'd end up behind Everton Sports Centre on this Astro, playing footy with his 2 kids. And that's what I'd do, I'd appear in my sight while you're playing footy with your 2 kids. And that's exactly what I'd done with him. Where he's playing footy, I positioned myself right next to a tree, standing up, arms crossed, and just watched him until he got contact with me. Smiled at him and walked away. And that's all it takes, people, to let them know how dangerous you can be. Hi Owen, how's things? Just wondering what your opinion on Jay Slater case, says Emma McKay. You know what, Emma? I formed this opinion. At the moment it's a missing persons investigation, so it's pointless. 2 women and 2 men know exactly what went on. Until it's a criminal investigation for a kidnapping or a held against their will sort of type charge, it's not going to move forward. But the woman of the Airbnb and that bird and them 2 lads, they hold the key to the answers, really. Yes, Joanna? Well, look, the information I'm hearing is this. Well, look, the only information that they're giving us to confirm he's gone on this walk is a woman and a girl and the lad that was in the hotel saying he's gone for something to eat or something. But the girl had a phone call where he had 1 minute left on his battery. He was probably thrown in the water, the phone, at the end of the call, because it's close to the water. And then you've got the woman in the Airbnb saying, yeah, I seen him at the bus stop. And I don't know whether he got offered a lift off the woman and refused it, but I think that came in the second bit of reasoning from it. But the first one was, I seen him at a bus stop, he was going up to town. And I drove back 15 minutes later and he wasn't there. So I gathered he got the bus. The phone was definitely thrown. Defo, mate? And I said to you the other day, didn't I? When I speak about this, I always go back to criminals know how to deflect an investigation. And if you're in the game for years and you're in that type, If you're on me, look, years ago, I went to Ibiza. I went to Ibiza because Danny had gone to Ibiza with Steve Kelly, Jay Kelly, Turner, little Terence Riley, some kid from Manny called Paul Cooper, and a few others. And they took Danny over to that island as muscle. He's getting used, Danny, and he doesn't know it. So Danny's being took to Ibiza because the belly and that have got a graft on the island of Ibiza. And they've got it locked down, they've got villas on there, they've got people in the pocket where they've been going for a couple of years and they've been looking after them. They've got Garda on board, all this stuff. Do you understand what I'm saying? I've had to go over with Craig Barker, tell Danny we're coming back. And that's when we had that big fight in Sant Antonio with the Irish rugby players. And it's gone off. And we've all had to separate. And as we separated, Terence Riley's and his bird at the time, Jennifer Scroggins or Jenna, are arguing outside the club. And Danny's heard it, heard Terence arguing. And he's come round. And as he's come round, our manager's been threatening Terry with a bat. A club owner has been threatening Terry with a bat over hitting his girlfriend. Danny, seeing the owner with the bat threatening his little mate Terry, took the bat off him and weighed him in with it. The owner of that club was the brother of the head of Garda on the island, and they were out looking for two Scousers, me and Danny. They ripped our hotel to pieces. We just had to sneak out the country and never went back there, honest to God. But the point I'm making, why I brought that into it, is you've obviously got a group that's grafting in that part of Tenerife, and have been for quite a while. They're established there. They've got people in the pockets. They've got young lads coming from the UK, coming over there, landing on the graft for a 6 week period, earning a little wage, party and getting in a villa. And it's exactly the same what's been happening in Liverpool for decades. Loads of young lads getting dropped into Marbella, getting dropped into Spain, Benidorm, all these gaffs, living there, living a life of Raleigh, but they're distributing drugs at the same time. So if he is this, and you know, there's rumours of a watch, but the first rumour we heard was 30 grand bag, you know, that makes more sense. Why? Because I've been in them dynamics and I see how them operation works, and you are getting sacks with 20 grand and it just brought to an apartment. Do you understand? It's the way it works over there, it's how easy it is over there.